Hello, my name is Rachel and this is Ladle by Ladle, and today I am going to explain the Minnie Mod method of recovery. As you may know, if you've watched my channel before, I recovered from anorexia a few years ago with the Minnie Mod method and the support of my friends, family, and a therapist. I wanted to have a video that I could send people to if they were curious about the Minnie Mod method. Of course, you can always go to the website, which I don't know what it is anymore on the top of my head. When I was recovering, it was yourutopia.com, and now it's like the edinstitute.com or .org or something. I'm not totally sure, but I will link it down below for all of the accurate, super on top of it information from Gwyneth herself. Anything you might need to know is on that website. In this video, I'm just gonna give a brief overview of what it is, why I promote it, and how it works for me. The Minnie Mod guidelines are guidelines for recovery from restrictive eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, orthorexia, binging and purging, or any sort of EDNOS that involves food restriction. The Minnie refers to the Minnesota Starvation Experiment, which I have an entire video on if you want to learn more about that, while the Mod refers to the Maudsley recovery method, which is a family-based treatment for anorexia. Beethoven, I'm making a video. The guidelines food amounts are what energy balanced, not eating disorder, normal people eat to happily maintain their weight, which means your minimum intake guideline is something that you will not just eat during recovery, but will continue to eat for the rest of your life. And it is a minimum, so during the energy restoration part of recovery, you should expect to eat way more than your minimum. This is often referred to as extreme hunger. Here is how you successfully follow the Minnie Mod program. First, you eat the minimum intake every single day. It is a minimum intake, as I said, and you are both encouraged and expected to eat above that number. Never in Minnie Mod can you restrict food intake for any reason. If you're hungry, you eat. You can go to her site to find out what your specific minimum intake is, but it will be somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 depending on your height, age, sex. I think that's it. The second step is that there is no weighing or measuring or body checking yourself. These are all surefire ways to set off a relapse, so just completely avoid it. When I was going through the bulk of the weight gain, I threw away my scale, covered all the mirrors in my bedroom, and I bought a lot of sweatpants and loose flowy dresses that I could wear for the few months that were like where the bulk of the weight gain was. That way I couldn't feel the weight gain happening in my clothes at all. All of these things were so crucial to getting through the bulk of my weight gain. The third step, so first you have eat your minimum or more. Second step is don't weigh or measure yourself in any way. And the third step is to stop all exercise completely. Part of what Gwyneth, the creator of the Minnie Mod guidelines, believes is that restrictive eating disorders are neurobiological conditions, which means that in this method, she believes that your eating disorder can never be fully cured, but it can either be active or in remission. You can be in remission for the rest of your life once you recover, but you have to be consistently cognizant of your past and the fact that you did have this very serious restrictive eating disorder and that it can come back at any time, so you need to stay on top of what caused it and what's keeping you away from it. Part of getting to and staying in remission is seeking support and counsel with a therapist. My cat just picked up my bra. I'm dressing me. This is so weird. Part of achieving and maintaining remission is addressing the anxiety and guilt you associate with food head on, typically with a therapist. This way you can avoid repeating inappropriate response behaviors to eating, like over-exercising or restricting intake. The 3 steps to get you into remission, or what most people commonly refer to as recovery, are weight restoration. And this is not weight restoration just to a minimum healthy weight. This is weight restoration to your set point, to the weight that your body maintains when you are eating the minimum every single day. 2 is repairing and reversing the metabolic damage that restricting food does to your body. 3 is developing new non-restrictive neural patterns in response to your triggers. And like I said, this is just done with a lot of practice and At my suggestion, a lot of therapy. I discovered Minnie over a year before I finally decided to commit to it. I flirted with the idea of recovery without actually diving in, and then I did quasi-recovery, and you guys probably already know my story, and if you don't, go check it out in my story video. But that is the one trick about Minnie is that because it's the decision you have to make, you have to want recovery for the Minnie guidelines to work. You have to really want recovery to be strong enough to go through with these kind of guidelines. Because when you're in that eating disorder restrictive headspace, they can seem kind of extreme. As I mentioned, when I found the program back in 2014, it was still on the original Yourtopia site, and I just read the articles over and over and over again, and I haunted the forums without doing anything for a long time. I made the plunge and I started Minnie at the beginning of 2015. In 2015, my whole world changed, and by the end of that year, I was in remission. It is now March 2018, and I still consider myself in remission to this day. Let's see, back when I first started, after I was eating the minimums for a few weeks, extreme hunger hit me, and it hit me hard. I would say for the next like 2 months, I experienced and responded to extreme hunger. So this was about a 2-month period where I was easily eating between 5,000 and 15,000 calories a day. It just felt like I had this hunger that could never be satisfied. And with these like extreme feelings of hunger came, of course, a lot of guilt and feelings of gluttony and inappropriate neurological responses to food, which I was fortunately able to work through with the support of the online community and my therapist. So I cannot say enough how important it is that you have someone out there that you can listen to or talk to get through the hard parts of this, because the hard parts of this get really hard, and it's nice to have a friend or someone who will listen to you. Anyway, after about 2 months, the extreme hunger just kind of calmed down, and I was making sure I hit my minimums every day. For me, it just flipped the script from what I had been doing for years. Instead of having one number that I couldn't go above, I now had absolutely no limit. I had a number that I couldn't go below, and I was free to go to as whatever number I wanted. And it took me a long time to be okay with that, but man, once I was, it was the most freeing and amazing feeling in the world. And with these minimums, I felt my relationship to food healing. I felt my physical body healing. I swear to God, I felt my metabolism healing. And after a while, I felt the eating disorder disappear into the furthest, darkest corner of my brain. I never ever thought I would fully recover. I swear, I have so many diary entries and Tumblr posts where I'm just like, this is my life forever. I will forever restrict my food intake and forever be afraid of gaining weight. And I will never get out of this hell, this mental hell that I'm in. I honestly, truly just thought that. I thought that I had dug myself into this hole and this was my life now. And because of the Minnie guidelines, that just isn't true. I'm recovered, I'm happy, I'm fine with the way I look, I'm free. So obviously, if you are considering this method of recovery, I cannot recommend it highly enough. And if you're still not sold or you're still scared, go ahead and do the research yourself. For me, reading through Gwyneth's science-backed blog posts and entries really helped me wrap my mind around it. Understanding the Minnesota starvation experiment really helped me wrap my mind around it. Accepting set point theory and being an example every day of set point theory really might help you wrap your mind around it. And you may have some naysayers and people who have negative things to say about this method of recovery, and that's fine, to each their own. But whatever you have to say about Minnie you can't argue with a success story like mine. You just can't. And I know there are many other girls like me out there. Minnie allowed me to find myself after years of hiding behind an eating disorder. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. So that's what the Minnie guidelines are. That is a quick little overview. I get really passionate about it because I owe my life to them, and so I can't talk about it enough. Anyway, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them below. Like I said, I'm gonna link her website, Gwyneth's website, with all of the information on this method of recovery, which by the way is now not called Minnie Mod. It's now called the homodynamic recovery method or something like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Rachel. This is Ladle by Ladle. We talk about eating disorder recovery, body positivity, self-love, intuitive eating, and veganism. And I'd love to have you with me. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, bye guys.